Peace be with you. My name is Alan Kiesler. Although I'm in the United States, I'm always thinking about Pakistan, the land of the pure, and Khalistan, the land of the pure, and all the pure lands in the world. So I am going to discuss one very important question today. Somebody had objected to me once when I said we should love everyone and we should even love our enemies. And they said, no, there is a hadith that we should hate those who are the enemies of our holy prophet, peace be upon him. So this is a very good question that person had raised. Who are our enemies we should hate? Or who are the enemies of the holy prophet that we should, peace be upon him, that we should hate? So I am going to talk about this today. I don't know exactly what that meant, for sure. But what I do know is that we need to understand who are the enemies of our beloved holy prophet, peace be upon him. And the simple answer is, first, in the negative, who are not those enemies that we should hate? Well, we should not hate people just because of their religion. So some people do that. Many people do that. They think that a certain religion or people belonging to a certain religion are the enemies of our religion or of our holy prophet, peace be upon him. Therefore, we should hate all of them. I'm certain that is wrong. Because in every religion, there are good people and there are bad people. So, what's another thing that is wrong? It's also wrong to think we should hate people of a certain nation, because that nation is the enemy of our beloved nation. But people of other nations, some of them are good and some of them are bad. So we should be very careful that we don't make this mistake, fall into this trap. This is a trap. If we think we should hate those who are against our religion or our beloved teacher or our beloved prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or our religion, no, we should hate the people who are actually against the truth, people who are against justice, people who are against love, people who are against righteousness. These are the real eternal principles of religion. These are the real eternal principles of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. These are the eternal principles of our beloved teacher, no matter what our religion is. All people of all religions have love for their religion, for their teacher. So that's good. They should. We should. But we should not think that those people who are enemies of our beloved, whether it's our beloved teacher, our beloved prophet, peace be upon him, our beloved religion, our beloved country, we should not think that we know who those people are just by a certain designation, like belonging to a certain religion, belonging to a certain nation, belonging to a certain race, certainly. So I want to just talk about this for one moment, very short description. So I've said who our enemies are not that we should hate. They're not people belonging to a certain category, but they are people who we must understand are the real enemies of our prophet, peace be upon him, or our teacher, or our religion, or our country. So, who are those enemies? They are the ones who are spreading deceit. That's the first thing. Those who are spreading deceit are the enemy of every true religious teacher. Those who are spreading lies, those who are spreading misinformation or especially disinformation, those people who are lying and they know they're lying, those are the ones we should work very, very hard to expose. If we want to hate them or we want to love them, in either case, we have to expose them. So that's the main point I want to make. Who are the enemies that we should hate? Those who are spreading fake information, those who are intentionally, knowingly, especially those who are knowingly spreading lies. Those are the ones who we must expose. And whether we call that we're exposing them because we love them or we're exposing them because we hate them, doesn't matter, but we must expose them. We must stand up for the truth. We must stand up for justice. And those who are acting unjustly, those are the ones we must hate. Even if not as individuals, we must hate them as enemies of the truth and of justice. That's really the main point I'm trying to make. So let's see what questions and comments we have. I think looks like we already have some comments here. Amomi says, "Hey, great to see you back, sir. Very nice to have you with us. We are planning to continue every week at this time. That is Saturday. Here in California, it's in the morning, about 6:30 or a little after 6:30, which is right now in Pakistan 7:30. Well, it's always 7:30 in Pakistan. Here in America, the time changes with daylight savings time. So it's 7:30 p.m. every Saturday in Pakistan. So I don't know why you say it's great to see me back. I'm here every week at this time, God willing." Irfan Majid says, "Assalamu alaikum." Wa alaikum salam. Peace be to you also, Irfan Majid Sahib. And Abdullah also says, "Assalamu alaikum." Wa alaikum salam, sir. Gray says, Gray always has good comments. "Media is also responsible for portraying wrong image of Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. All principles of Abrahamic religions are more or less the same." Yes, definitely. The principles of the Abrahamic religions are more or less the same. Not only the principles of the Abrahamic religions, the principles of all religions are more or less the same. That is love, truth, justice, and hating the untruth, but loving those who are innocent, even if they belong to a group that we are told or we think are our enemies. So certainly, the main principle of every religion is love. And as I've said many times before, when this question has come up, loving our enemies, if the main principle is love, loving our enemies means that we have to expose their untruths. We have to expose, because those are our real enemies. Those who are promoting truth, even unknowingly, knowingly or unknowingly, we should hate them, meaning we should hate the work they're doing. We should hate and we should expose. Hating them means to expose their deceit. So yes, definitely, Gray. Thank you very much for pointing out that Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, they all have more or less the same principles. And what are those principles? As I've said repeatedly, love, truth, justice, righteousness, mercy, forgiveness. This is every religion, not only Abrahamic religions. Okay. And I can, I'm sorry, I have not been, it's not, there we go. The highlighting was not working, but now it is. So this is a very, very good question. And the other half of what you're talking about, not only the principles of at least the Abrahamic religions or all revealed religions are the same, Um, but the media is very responsible for this. The wrong image of Islam and the wrong image of other religions too, because the media today mostly, almost entirely, is controlled by satanic forces, the mass media. So thank you very much. Very good point. But I just wanted to take one moment to say, what is that main principle of all religions? Love. And I will just quote again a few times, which I've done before. What are those principles? First of all, love means uh, in Islam, Islam ka sabse mazboot amal hai mohabbat. That is a quote from the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. And in Christianity, Jesus Christ taught the very same thing, peace be upon him. He said, when he was asked, well, what is the greatest teaching? What is the most important law? Or what is the greatest action? Just like sabse mazboot amal. What is the greatest or most powerful act? He was asked actually by the Jewish teachers at his time, what is the most important law? Because they were very interested in law, Sharia. So he said the most important law is love, and he quoted from the Torah, he quoted from the teachings of Moses, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and your neighbor as yourself. He said these are the two parts of that most important law. So, but not only the Abrahamic religions, not only Islam and Christianity and Judaism, but Hinduism. Prema pumarto mahan. It's the very same teaching. Prema means love, and pumarto means the purpose of human life or the goal of human life. Mahan means the greatest. So in all these religions, and I'm sure, I'm convinced that if it's a real religion, this is what it would be teaching, that love is the most important thing. And as we're talking about hate today, hating deceit and hating those who are the enemies of truth, that is to love them. There's no difference between hating and loving the enemies of truth, because in both cases, what it means, we have to expose them. If we have to hate them, we are very eager and determined to expose them. And if we love them, we love our enemies who are hating us and who are spreading deceit, that hatred means to expose them. That's the most important thing, to stand up against them. Okay, thank you, Gray. So this is a very, very important point. All religions teach the same thing. So we should, that is love. So that's the most important principle. And we should not misunderstand it. Okay, Gray goes on. Media played important role for creating chaos among different religions and races and creating differences. Yes, this is certainly true, especially today. The media is very, very controlled by very satanic forces, evil forces, and spreading chaos, spreading fake, false understanding about religion, and creating misunderstanding and promoting misunderstanding, which is the hardest thing in the world today, is to find out the truth, because the media is so much promoting. It's not only promoting the wrong things, it's intentionally promoting the wrong things. And then they know it. Those media leaders, many of them, they're well aware that they're lying, but they pretend that they're telling the truth. Okay, Sabil Rahman says, hey, welcome, sir. How are you? I'm very happy, thank you. How are you? And he goes on, sir, how's your health, your heart now? Good, sir. My health is quite good. My heart is quite okay now. I had surgery and it seems to have mostly recovered. I'm still experiencing some dizziness, which may be related to the heart surgery. I've had different opinions from several doctors about why I'm feeling this dizziness, and one of them is, which I think is the right one, it may be a result of the heart surgery. Of course, that surgery saved me, otherwise I probably would be dead by now. That was more than 2 years ago. But there are some side effects that what he specifically said, this one doctor who I think is the best of all of them, because they said quite different things, some of them, is that the blood flow from my heart has been impeded by the surgery, because the right here in my chest, because they cut open my chest, to do that surgery. So those tissues here are now scarred. So that is impeding the flow of blood to the brain. Of course, what the surgery did is it enabled the flow to the heart, which is important too, because if you can't pump your blood, then you die. So uh, my heart was quite clogged, and the doctor told me I could be gone at any moment if I don't have this surgery. So fortunately, that surgery enabled the blood flow to my heart to be increased, but it may have affected the blood flow to the brain. So you have one benefit, but another. But otherwise, I'm doing okay, except for this dizziness, which is quite disturbing. I've actually had a couple of falls because of that. Um, but otherwise, my health is okay. Faraz Ahmed says, I listened to you a time ago. Today I saw you are live. That time you talk about aliens, solar storms, and self-sufficient villages. What are your stance now? By the way, your opinions are positive and kind. Thank you very much, Faraz Ahmed ji. Um, yes, I don't know so much about solar storms. At that time, I had heard, and I think it was true, that uh, not only our sun, but all stars go through certain changes and go through certain things like having what we call a solar storm, or maybe it was called a solar flare or something, and they release a large amount of energy suddenly. And so some people were saying that is coming soon, and that will destroy all the electronics on our planet. So the whole internet would go down, computers would go down, and everything that depends on the chips, everything that depends on the silicon chips would stop functioning properly. So therefore, obviously, we need to have our self-sufficient villages, because if that happened, then the whole transportation system, which has now become so dependent also on computer technologies, that would be disrupted. So we would need to get food from some close by place. So yes, I still say we should definitely promote self-sufficient villages and local food. Everyone should have a source of food nearby, um, which primarily means a self-sufficient village. Yes. Then the other point you said is I was talking about aliens. So I think about aliens, I definitely would say I'm not sure. Of course, I don't like to call them aliens, because they're not aliens. They're not foreign to us. They're really our brothers and sisters, our space brothers and sisters. That's what I call them. So I don't remember exactly what I may have said that you're referring to, but I definitely emphasized uh, some time ago a the importance of growing our own food. And I think it's becoming more obvious now as the whole economy in the world is getting more and more disrupted. We should have sources of food nearby us. That's what self-sufficient villages means. So, and as far as what you call aliens or what I call our space brothers and sisters, I'm learning much more about them. And this is very, very enlivening topic to me, because I've learned that there are many very good extraterrestrial races who are with us, supporting us, and who are here. That is, they may be even underground. There are some races that live within our planet who are very good races, and they're not like us human beings, but they are very good, friendly beings, and they are some of them are now orbiting the Earth. They have motherships or space stations that are orbiting the Earth. They're watching. They're observing what is happening. They're very interested, and the good ones are very interested in supporting us and helping us, and they are doing it. And of those races, which I didn't know about, not very much. I knew a little bit, but not very much. But the race of my extraterrestrial mother, who, when I was 9 years old, I met a lady who was not human. Her ears were on the top of her head, but I didn't know much about her species. But recently I've learned, and I think they're the same species as my extraterrestrial mother, who I met first when I was 9. They are called the Urma, and they are actually large cats. You'd say like tigers and lions, and they are they look very much like our lions and tigers on our planet. They're a little bit bigger. In fact, some of them are 3 meters or 10 meters tall. They look like tigers and lions and leopards and jaguars and different uh, species of large cats, but they're a little bit larger. They may be as much as 3 meters or 10 feet tall. That's what I've been told. So those extraterrestrial brothers and sisters, those space brothers and sisters, they're very, very powerful and very, very good, very ethical. So I was very happy to learn about them. And of course, there are many, many other species from all over the solar system, all over the galaxy, all over the universe. There are millions and billions of planets in our solar system where there is intelligent life. And not solar system, excuse me, our galaxy. There are millions and billions of stars in our galaxy, and there are most stars have planets that are inhabited by extraterrestrial beings. So those stars are each one of those planets. Most of the stars have planets that are inhabited by intelligent life, and then there are millions of people, maybe billions of people, like on ours, on each planet. So that's just our galaxy. But there are millions and billions of galaxies. So how many types? And they can travel, not only from star to star, but from galaxy to galaxy. People have been traveling for a long time. So, yes, let me just conclude again this very good question, my answer to it. I still believe that self-sufficient villages are very important. I still believe there are things like solar storms, but I can't remember just what I said then, but I did have an idea once. It's very possible there could be a solar storm which would disrupt all the electronics. I don't think that way now. I don't think that's going to happen. It can happen, but I don't think it's about to happen. I'm quite sure of that. I may be wrong, but I'm quite sure that that solar storm that was going to disrupt, which may have been destined, it may have been on the schedule, because these things happens by a schedule. I understand that all stars, they go through certain cycles, and one of the cycles is that they every now and then they give off a big burst of energy, and that can be called a solar storm. And those solar storms certainly can and do influence their solar system, their planets in the planets in their solar system. So a few years ago, I was of the opinion that that could be happening, but now I think it's not going to happen. It's certainly not. If it happens, it's going to be modified, or its destructive influence will be reduced by positive and powerful supporters of ours who are as we call extraterrestrials. We may call them angels, we may call them whatever we want, space brothers and sisters, but I think they've actually been doing that. They've been preventing that solar storm from being so destructive and causing a total end of the electronics on our planet. They're protecting us from that. Okay, so very good question. Thank you, Faraz Ahmed. So now, Ishq says, Babaji, where does our soul go when we fall asleep? Oh, that's a very good question. So when we sleep, we have dreams. So those dreams can be of two kinds. One is when we, the soul, actually leaves this body and travels in what we call the subtle body. So when we fall asleep, that's one thing that happens. We can actually travel outside of our body. And some people can actually see those subtle bodies. And many of them say that there is they call it a silver cord of some sort that connects the body that's asleep and the soul that travels. So that's one thing that happens when we go to sleep, is that we actually travel outside of our body. And we can travel outside of our body when we're awake also. But most people don't train themselves to do that very much. I have been doing that for a long time. So that's one thing that happens to everybody. When we fall asleep, we dream and actually travel outside of our body. But there are other types of dreams also, which are not actually traveling outside the body, but they're just the, I guess you can say, the reactions of what we have been doing during the day. And so we think about those things. So those are two things that happen. One, that the soul can actually leave the body and travel to other places, uh, or other times for that matter. And the other thing is the soul can also just stay when we fall asleep. Doesn't always have to leave. It can be just staying in the body for some time and not leaving. So those two things can happen. Johnny Chohan says, "Love from Jammu and Kashmir." Oh, sir, nice to think about you and Jammu and Kashmir and the difficulties you're undergoing. We are praying all the time for you and for the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are suffering tremendously great injustices, great zulm. So and I'm sure you will be protected. Just be confident that however powerful the enemies are, God is more powerful. And if we are very, very intelligent and prayerful, we have to be very intelligent and prayerful uh, and strong. Um, but we will be protected, definitely. God protects people who are sincere, certainly. So you're sincere. So don't be too worried about what's going on. Be confident that the truth is coming out and the truth will conquer. So Amjad Ali Khan says, "Good well soon, stay safe, and may Allah always protect you and your family." Thank you very, very much. And let us all pray for each other for protection. We all need protection in these very, very dangerous times we're living in. So let us all pray uh, for our friends and their families and for everybody, all sincere people, especially. I always pray, whatever their religion, they are Muslims if they are surrendered, if they are wanting to promote love and truth and justice, whatever the religion may be. Those are the people I always pray for, from whatever country, from whatever race, and from whatever religion. Okay, Sabil Rahman says, "We will pray for your better health, sir. Inshallah, everything will be fine. Thank you very much." Muhammad Shahad Fazl says, 24,000 Palestinians are dead, 11,000 little children are 60,000 people are injured. What do you love really exists? What do you love really exists in this world? There is not such thing like love which would exist on this planet ever. Well, I'm not quite sure what you mean by you say there is not such a thing like love which would exist on this planet ever. I think love has always existed on this planet, but often it is minimal and sometimes it increases. And I think it will increase. I think today, not only I think, but all seers, all saints, all prophets, they all, in every religious community, there are teachings that a time will come when love will be established, when peace will be established on our planet, not only on our planet, but, and I believe that time is coming soon. I believe we are living in that time which has been prophesied before that era of unity and peace and love. There will be a great time of difficulty. So that's what we're facing right now. And it is especially difficult because the disinformation agents, the liars, the Dajalis, they are very, very active right now because they know their time is up. They know that this is the time when their disinformation campaigns will be exposed and they will fail. So I disagree with you completely when you say there's not such a thing like love which would ever exist on this planet. I admit that certainly there have been, especially for the last several thousand years, there has been a lot of hatred spread on our planet. But I believe, again, I don't know any dates, but I believe in the not distant future, love and truth, justice will spread, and it will be established on this planet. And I'm quite certain of that. So I don't know what is the source of your ideas, that there's not such a thing like love that would ever exist on this planet. But my sources are, I believe, very, very good, perfect sources, so that that time will come when love and truth and justice will be established. Otherwise, I would not be happy. But I'm very, very happy because I'm sure, I'm 100% convinced that not only will love be established throughout our planet, but it's coming soon. Okay. Now about the dead in Palestine, Palestinian dead children and 60,000 people injured. I actually think it's much more than that. You say 24,000 Palestinians are dead. I actually think it's, well, I don't know the exact figures, but certainly it's horrible. It's horrific. And the International Court of Justice is right now having hearings, has the last few days has been having hearings on what is going on. South Africa brought this case to the International Court of Justice, and they are deliberating on the Israeli genocide of Palestinians. And it's many tens of thousands, definitely, of people are dead, including a lot of children and women. So, does this mean that love does not exist in this world? No, it doesn't mean that. It just means that we're going through a time right now when the forces of disinformation, the forces of deceit, they are desperate. And that's why they're doing all of these horrible things. They never used to be so open as they are right now. They are openly killing people, genociding. It's genocide. Clearly, it's genocide. So they used to be a little more careful. When they were committing genocide, they would try to conceal it a little bit. Now it's very open, and everybody knows it's what they're doing. They're just wiping out innocent civilians, bombing, and it's open. So why are they being so open? Because they're so desperate. They're desperately trying to stop the truth from coming out, but their desperateness is enabling the truth to come out all the more. So, yes, there are many horrible things happening right now, especially in Gaza, of course. But that's simply a sign that the end of that deceitful campaign of genocide, which has been going on in different places for a long time, but that's going to be fully exposed. Okay, Faraz Ahmed says, Sir, tell us a little more about them. What are they like? What kind of living they have? What connections they have with us in the past? Can you tell us more about their technologies and their beliefs? Yes, I'm very happy to. I love talking about our extraterrestrial brothers and sisters. So, first about them, I'm talking about my spiritual mother's or my extraterrestrial mother's race, because when I first met her, when I was 9 years old, I didn't know much at all about who she was. What I did know, her ears were on the top of her head, which was very clear. Other than that, she looked like a human being as far as I could see. I think I couldn't really see clearly or remember clearly. I think she intentionally concealed her real appearance because I would have freaked out. I would have not been able to understand what she was if I saw her as a lioness. But her ears on the top of her head. So, little more about them. Well, what I've learned is, of course, like lions and tigers in our planet, they're very, very powerful. The other thing about them that's so wonderful to learn is, and it made perfect sense because she was so kind and loving to me, they are very ethical. They follow high principles, and they're very, very intelligent. It's very difficult to deceive them. So, very powerful, but at the same time very tender and gentle and loving. And they're called the Urma. This is their name for themselves in their own language. And they live, or their home planet, I should say, is a planet around the star Vega. Vega is one of the brightest stars in the Lyra constellation, not very far from here, only about 24,000 light years. So that is where their home planet is. But they existed, what is it, right, billions of years ago. They were one of the first intelligent species in our galaxy, the Urma. So what more should I say about them? What correct connections they have with us in the past? Well, they have been our protectors and supporters for a long time, especially in these wars with the evil. There's another race of beings who are reptilian. You may have heard about them. They're quite famous, who are very, very selfish and evil and destructive. So those reptilians were attacking the human races. There have been human races living for billions of years in our galaxy on other planets. And exactly when they came to this planet, that I don't know, but that's also been a long time. But long before there were human beings on our planet, on the Earth, there were human beings in other places, especially in the Lyran system where Vega is. And there was a war between the reptilians and the human. Sometimes they're called Nordics, but there are different types of human races. Some are dark-skinned, some are light-skinned, but they are all human beings. They don't, not from the Earth, before humans colonized our Earth, or were brought here or placed here. So that race of the Urma, they were protecting the human races from the deceits and attacks of the reptilians, of the evil reptilians, because there are good reptilians also. In fact, I even saw one once, twice actually. There are dragons, just like in China, they respect dragons. Those reptilians are good. The there are other types of reptilians that look more like dinosaurs, and they're the evil ones, are mostly that kind. Whereas the dragons are a higher class, you can say, a better, more intelligent, and more beneficial, more favorable to good people, the dragons. So there are dragon-like reptilians. I once saw a very beautiful red one, really a dark, bright red-colored dragon. So that type of reptilian is actually good. But there's another type of reptilian. There are lots of types of reptilians, but there's another type of reptilian that has been the enemies of humanity for a long, long time. By humanity, I don't mean the Earth beings, but human-like beings, people who look just like us, long before Earth was colonized. So that's just a little bit more about the Urma, that they are our protectors. They're very, very good people, very powerful. And so that's the main connection that we've had with them for a long, long time, is that they've been protecting us from powerful reptilian forces. And yes, more about their technologies. Well, all of these races, both the reptilians and the Urma, they have anti-gravity spaceships, which even human beings have now secretly. It's not been openly revealed, but the American military and other countries also, they have created what we call sometimes flying saucers, anti-gravity craft. So the Urma have anti-gravity craft, the reptilians have anti-gravity craft, and even on our planet, if we look into ancient histories, like the Sumerian texts, like ancient Sanskrit texts, I've been told there are also ancient Arabic texts that talk about thousands of years ago, beings that had anti-gravity craft, like flying saucers. They were the size of cities that could float in the air. Apparently, they were anti-gravity craft. So that's one of their main technologies. Otherwise, how could they travel so far? Because those anti-gravity craft can travel very, very fast, much faster than the speed of light. So what are there other technologies? Other technologies that many extraterrestrial races have are to do what we call wormholes, or practically instantaneous travel over hundreds and thousands and even millions of light years. It's a totally different type of technology than the anti-gravity craft. It just means that whatever it is, whatever type of craft it is, it can be, I guess we would call it teleportation. That's one way to describe it, where you can go from one place to another place through this wormholes, which I've been told there are both natural wormholes. One reason why our Earth and our solar system is so important is that there are some very major natural wormholes near our solar system. So we can travel millions of light years even away. We can travel even to other galaxies through some of these wormholes. So that's one of the technologies that they possess. In fact, I've been told, and I believe it, that the Iraq War was really the two Iraq wars, both of them. They were really not to get Saddam Hussein's weapons of mass destruction, but they were to try to prevent him from utilizing a wormhole. There is a wormhole in Baghdad, very, very old one. And Saddam Hussein had gained control of that, of course, and he was learning how to use it. So the Americans were worried about that. So that was the real reason, the real weapons of mass destruction they were after were not atomic bombs. He probably didn't have nuclear weapons, but he had this wormhole. So, of course, that's not a weapon of mass destruction. It's a instrument of travel distantly, but I guess it could be used in a bad way too. So that's one technology that is very, very widespread and very, very utilized throughout our galaxy and other galaxies, is practically instantaneous travel, a long, long distance. Let's see, what are some of the other technologies? Well, many of the technologies that we have gotten just in the past, 70, 80 years, computers, internets, the internet system, this is all based on extraterrestrial technology, lasers. These are things that we have learned from other species, other non-terrestrial species. And their beliefs. Okay, that's a good question. So, I'm still researching this, but one thing that is certainly clear is that even the bad ones, even the evil, selfish ones, everyone of all extraterrestrial species, they know that there is a supreme source of everything. They know there is what we call a God, but it may be different than what we think. There may be many different beliefs that they have about that supreme original source of everything. That's what I like to call it. So even the bad ones, even the evil ones, they all know there is one supreme source of everything. It's different than on our planet, where there's so much deception that many people call themselves atheists. They think, of course, it depends on what you mean by God, because there's so many fake ideas about God that people don't believe in that idea of God, and they call themselves an atheist. But as far as an original source of everything, that understanding is very, very widespread. Very rare that somebody could be an atheist in the sense of thinking there is not a supreme source of everything. And some of their other beliefs, well, this is something I've only been learning more about recently. But the idea that we live in a hologram or a virtual reality, it's a very, very powerful understanding. I'm convinced it's true, that we are living, this world that we are living in, that we see with our eyes, this world is actually a hologram. And because it's a hologram, we can interact with it in different ways. We can, what's the right word? We can step back, maybe is the right word. Just like if you were playing a computer game, or especially if you're in a three-dimensional virtual reality, then it's very, very easy to become absorbed in that virtual reality. But if you can sort of step back and realize, oh, this is just a virtual reality, this is just a computer game I'm playing, then it totally changes the perspective. So this is what I've become convinced of myself, and which is what many, many extraterrestrial races believe or teach, that this creation in which we are existing is like a virtual reality. And we can step back from our absorption in this. Just like if you're watching a movie, you become so absorbed in it. Sometimes, if the hero or heroine gets in danger, then our heart starts speeding too. We're sitting in the theater, but we're so much absorbed in the movie that our emotions get aroused. We become afraid when the hero or heroine is in danger. And when the hero and heroine fall in love, we become so happy, right? So this is what we're doing in this world. We're watching, we're absorbed in a virtual reality. It's like a movie. Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage. And the, uh, what is it? We're all merely players or actors. So that's a belief that Shakespeare understood or had. And it's very common among extraterrestrials also, that understanding. Okay, that's a very good question. I've given a long answer. I'll go on. Sajad Nazir says, how are you? I'm fine, thank you. Johnny Chohan again says, sends love from Jammu and Kashmir, and we are sending love especially to Jammu and Kashmir all the time and prayers. Tanvir Cholastani says, love you. I love you too, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. And Johnny Chohan says, a time will coming soon when peace, love, truth govern and spreading everywhere. Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad you have that conviction also, just like I do. I believe that the time is coming soon, although I really don't know when. But it's not too long. I'm convinced of that. We're definitely living in that era when peace and love and truth will be established on this planet. Sarah says, Assalamu alaikum. Babaji, good to see you healthy. Please tell us about Pakistan and Pakistanis. Well, the main thing I've said about Pakistan many, many times, because I had this experience in about 1983. I heard this very clear voice, not outside, in my consciousness or within my heart. Pakistan da matlab hai, O Pakistan, jitte Hazuri Pak, ude Pak Musahib Dinal, Islami Pak, phir qaim kar dene ke. So Pakistan is that very, very special land of the pure, where the Holy Prophet and his holy companions will reestablish, peace be upon them, the Holy Prophet and all of his companions, may God be pleased with them. They will, or they are right now, reestablishing pure Islam. And what does pure Islam mean? Islami Pak da matlab ki Shariat ya Muhabbat. Insani Pak da matlab ki Jisme Khak ya Ruhi Pak. So what is that pure Islam that is being established right now in Pakistan? Pure Islam means, above all, love. That's the most important thing. Law, Sharia, has its role. It's important also. But far more important than Sharia is muhabbat, is love. So this is Pakistan and Pakistanis. So Pakistan is a very, very special place where pure-hearted, sincere people. Pakistani means somebody who is pure, Pak. So pure-hearted, sincere people in Pakistan are going to, or are doing right now, this establishment of pure Islam, of truth and justice, and above all, love. So God willing, that is coming into effect right now. The more things become troublesome and difficult, now with this election coming up next month, I am praying that it will actually happen and it will not be interfered with too much by satanic forces. They will not rig the election. May the truth come out. So that's Pakistan in my understanding, that land of the pure where truth and justice and love are being established. And the whole world will be amazed when they see what's really happening in Pakistan. All this false propaganda against Pakistan, because the satanic forces who control the world's media, they're afraid. They know that their satanic plans to control the world will be upset when people understand what's really going on in Pakistan. So thank you for your very good question or request that we talk about Pakistan. I love talking about Pakistan for this reason, because Allama Iqbal Rahmatullah was the one who revealed that to me, that Pakistan is the place where pure Islam will be reestablished. And that was a long time ago, 83. Oh, that's 40 years ago this year. So right now, that what he said 40 years ago would happen. Now it's happening. That's really what's happening in Pakistan right now. Johnny Choni says, do not worry, justice will be coming soon, inshallah. Thank you for your confidence. It encourages me that you're also saying, as I'm saying, don't worry. Definitely justice and truth and love are coming. Dr. Ijaz Ali Jagirani Baloch says, was Hazrat Nuh and Hazrat Idris fought with aliens? This is a very complicated question, actually. Um, what I understand is that Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, or Noah, as we say in English, that he was, of course, a prophet, and he was assisted by um, extraterrestrials. He was assisted by good extraterrestrials, and he was opposed by evil extraterrestrials. So evil extraterrestrials are always trying to destroy the good people because they want to control us. So Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam was a good person, of course, and evil extraterrestrials were involved in trying to destroy humanity. But good extraterrestrials supported. We say God supported them. Godly people supported uh, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam. Godly extraterrestrials, angelic extraterrestrials. So these battles between good and bad extraterrestrials has been going on for a long time on our planet too, and in other places also. As I said a few minutes ago, uh, in the Lyra constellation for the planet Vega is that war between the good extraterrestrials, especially led by the Urma, the large feline. They stand on two legs, so they're not lions and tigers like that, but they look just like lions and tigers who can stand up. So that war had been going on since I think it was billions of years ago when that started. So not only Hazrat Nuh and Hazrat Idris alayhi salam and all so many other prophets, they've all been opposed to evil extraterrestrials, and evil extraterrestrials have tried to even destroy them, but they've been supported by good extraterrestrials, what we call angels, just like we know Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was supported by angels. That means good extraterrestrials. Angels are extraterrestrials, after all. They're not from this planet. So they're good extraterrestrials. So yes, these wars have been going on, and Hazrat Nuh alayhi Islam and Hazrat Idris alayhi Islam definitely were fighting with aliens, or don't call them aliens. Well, the evil ones, if you want to, but I don't even like to call the evil ones aliens, because they're also our relatives. We're all relatives. Even the satanic forces are our relatives. So, but they are people from other planets, yes. Okay, Jawad Aruya says, I would like to help with your school. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, I am organizing the school. I've actually been talking with some friends about it, and we are planning to begin teaching both online and maybe have a physical location here in this area where I live in Northern California. But in any case, we want to have a school which will be maybe especially for South Asians is my idea. But in any case, it will be a school which is not based on the educational system that we have in America or all over the world now. It will teach about the history according to extraterrestrial sources, not the history that we have, the fake history that we've been taught in all the schools in the world, practically. We've been taught a lot of things, not only fake history, fake science. So many fake things have been taught in these schools, so called schools. So we're wanting to introduce an educational system which is based on truth and love and justice, which is coming from extraterrestrial sources. Because we human beings, we lost the knowledge of our history more than a few thousand years ago. And even that history that we have from a few thousand years ago is twisted. So we've been subjected to a lot of evil propaganda, misleading us. Intentionally, we've been misled. So our purpose of our school is to really give a whole new curriculum based on information from extraterrestrial sources often. Okay, thank you for your help. We will let you know when something more positive, more complete, I should say. It's all very positive, but when we get some actually concrete program established, I'll certainly let you know. Yasir Bab says, this is a democracy manifest. Democracy will manifest itself in Pakistan. Yes, it depends on what you mean by democracy, because democracy means two different things. One, it means freedom for the people to play a major role in their own government rather than being dominated and controlled by a small class. Yes, so this is what we want in Pakistan. We want that true democracy. The other thing that democracy means is that, which is what much of democracy in the world right now is, like in America, too, as well as most countries, they have a so-called democracy in which people are allowed to vote, but actually everything is controlled. Just like in America, there's two parties, Democrats and Republicans, but really both parties are controlled by the same evil people, for the most part, not completely, but for the most part. So because there are only two major parties, you have to belong to one of those parties to win an election. But mostly the same evil forces control both parties. So what kind of democracy is that? You can vote for A or B, but both A and B are controlled by the same people. So it's a fraud. It's a fraud. It's not a real democracy. The people don't really have a choice to vote for who they really want to, because the candidates of both parties are controlled by the same evil forces. So, but in Pakistan, we had a third important party, which has now become by far the most popular one, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is really a real Insaf party. This is democracy manifest. If this election can happen now, as I'm praying, may this election actually happen. The satanic forces have been postponing and delaying it for so long, already years. But when the election happens, they're trying to do everything they can to prevent the truth and the really justice from coming about. So they're trying to rig the election again. So we're praying that they will not be able to. So this is my prayer, that may democracy, the real freedom of people to understand the truth and to establish the truth and justice in Pakistan. May that happen now. This is real. I'm really praying a lot for this. So please join me. That democracy, real democracy, spiritual democracy, I guess is the best way to say it, in which people who are intelligent, people who are spiritual, they can vote intelligently, as most people in Pakistan are now seeing this very clearly. They can see what is the real injustice and what is the real injustice going on. It's also happening in other places. As a result of this, what's happened now in Gaza, the whole world is seeing the truth and seeing what is the real justice and what is the fake justice. So may Pakistan now witness next month, inshallah, an election in which the people can actually have their votes counted and have the attempts to rig the election be foiled. May God promote the truth and justice and prevent the satanic forces from rigging this election. So that's my prayer, and thank you very much. This is what I'm praying and looking forward to. May actually this election happen when scheduled this time, and may it not be interfered with. May it not be rigged by selfish and satanic forces. Dr. Ijaz Ali Jagirani Baloch says, did Hazrat Nuh... Oh, it's the same question, sorry. Faraz Ahmed says, I know it kind of sounds absurd. How can I contact them? I really want to know more from a direct source. Well, I've been asked this question many times, and I've always given the same answer. There is a very good man named Stephen Greer, and he actually has a program to contact extraterrestrials for ordinary citizens, ordinary human beings, to call extraterrestrials to reveal themselves, to show themselves, and to communicate. And he's actually doing it. So you can look him up, Steven, Stephen Greer, Greer, and he has another program is the Disclosure Project, in which he is revealing the truth about extraterrestrials, and another project which you can look that up to, Disclosure, Disclosure project. And the other program he has it's called, I think, the Ambassador Program, in which the purpose of that program is literally to do what you're wanting, how to contact extraterrestrials, how to call them to come and reveal themselves to us. So, and he is successful in that. He is accomplishing that. So, that's the best source of information that I know about how to bring extraterrestrials into contact them. I've never done that actually. Well, I did try it once and it didn't work. But there's a whole protocol that he has established, and it works if you follow his protocol. So look that up. Stephen Greer. Sarah says, Alan, your Punjabi is so cute. Thank you very much. Jawad Ruya says, because I lived in the Punjab, in Khanewal, and even the first words I ever spoke, the first words I ever spoke, my mother told me, I don't remember, of course, were Punjabi. Before I spoke English, I spoke Punjabi because we were living in a Khanewal and we had some chickens in the compound where we lived. And I must have been talking with my Punjabi friends and they must have been pointing out the chickens to me. And so they were saying kukkoda, kukkoda. So the first word I ever spoke as a baby was kukkoda. So I speak Punjabi with a proper Punjabi accent because I learned it as a baby, as a child. Okay, Javaduriya says, we need to erase all borders, be it countries, religion, race, creed, or color. Well, in terms of division, yes, we need to erase the borders that cause hatred, that are dividing lines. But there's nothing wrong with countries and religions and races having their identity. But that identity should not be a cause of hatred and fighting and division. But individual countries have their individual characteristics, and when different countries or different people of different religions and different races, different creeds, different colors, when they come together in love, then it's beautiful, like a flower garden that has many colors. I've given this example often. I love this example. A garden of flowers which has different kinds of flowers and different colors of flowers, that's more beautiful than a garden which has only one type and one color of flower, right? So when there are different countries, different religions, different races, if those people of the different countries and religions and races come together in love, that is more beautiful than if everybody was just the same. If there was only one country, of course, in one sense it's true, but that there's only one country. The whole planet is one country in one sense. But the different nations, the different countries, the different races, the different religions, it's not bad. It's more beautiful when they come together in love than if they were all the same. So I don't think we need to erase all the borders, but the borders can be there, but they should not be causes of division. So there should not be borders where you have to cross, where you need a visa. You need a visa to cross, and they give you trouble at the border. No, that's not what's needed. That should not be that kind of border. But there can be geographical areas that are distinct from other geographical areas, different countries, in which the borders are not the cause of difficulty, but they are just identification of the countries. That's fine. So I don't think we need to erase the borders. We just have to change them from being causes of division to being causes of beauty. The differences can be the cause of division, or they can be causes of beauty. Sarah says, yes, Islam means peace, like salam. Tum par salamti ho, like that. Yes, very true. Sarah goes on, inshallah, summa inshallah, ameen, summa ameen, Allahumma ameen, ya Rabbul Alameen, Pakistan, Zindabad. Thank you very much. Which the Shamas says, Salam, have you been going through your classes? Oh, have been going through your classes. Very informative stuff. Thank you very much. Yes. I had given many classes some years ago through my Institute of All Intelligent Life, in which I discussed many things coming from extraterrestrial sources, even extraterrestrial spirituality. I gave classes on that. So I'm glad you've been going through them. They're still available there on my website, allintelligentlife.com. Yes, perhaps that's where you've seen them, because they're all posted there. Fahim Zafar says, we Pakistanis are hijacked with super impure powers, so-called establishment. Our military generals are gone rogue. I am afraid how much cost we will be paying until Sharia is implemented here. Um, well, there certainly are some military generals who have gone rogue, and we know who they are, but there are also many very good military generals, fortunately. Not only in Pakistan, but in the United States also. There are some military generals who are rogue and some who are very good, very true patriots. So don't worry. The establishment, so-called establishment, are not only impure powers. There are uh, bad, rogue, selfish generals, but there are also very good uh, and selfless patriots in the Pakistani military. And that's in most countries. They have very good people and very bad people in the military too. Okay, so, but your last sentence here about you say you're afraid how much cost we will be paying until Sharia is implemented here. Well, as I just said a few minutes ago, I quoted about Sharia and Muhabbat. Really, what has to be implemented is not Sharia. This is what most Muslims think. They think Islam means Sharia. And if the Sharia was implemented, then Islam would be implemented. No, I've been told very clearly, very plainly, that is not true. You can have the Sharia 100% implemented in terms of the laws, and the laws be enforced, but if it's done without love, it won't be real Islam. So real Islam really means love. When the Sharia is implemented with love, then it will be real Islam. But the Sharia does not necessarily have to be implemented with love. Sharia can be implemented with even hatred, but certainly with selfishness and with self-righteousness. So there are some places where that has happened, where the Sharia is implemented much more than it is or ever will be in Pakistan, probably. And in those countries, they implemented a Sharia not with love. So that didn't work. That's actually worse. To have Sharia implemented with what's the right word? Self-righteousness. That's not good. So it's not that the Sharia has to be implemented. It's that love has to be promoted. Love and truth and justice. And then whatever is implemented, whatever laws are implemented, that will be good. I hope that's I've taken this position many times before. This is not the first time. I've said the Sharia is not very important. What is important is love and truth and justice. So don't be misled by people that are promoting Sharia with a self-righteous attitude. That is not Islam. Okay. Fahim Safar says, please remember Pakistan and Imran Khan in your daily prayers. Jazakallah khair. I am, definitely. Yes. Which the Shemas says, do you have any classes, videos related to meditation, spiritual? You do. I have done some, yes. In fact, they're there on the website. I don't know how, it's not very well organized, I guess. But yes, I have done classes, and I do have some videos about meditation and some of the prayers that I recite. But I don't want, I actually was promoting this before, but then I don't want to create a new religion. That's what I'm afraid will happen. So I've said this before, that whatever meditation or spiritual practices I have, and I do have my regular daily practices, they are from different religions together. I say prayers from Christian tradition, from Muslim tradition, from Hindu tradition, from Buddhist tradition, from Taoist tradition, from Sikh tradition, from Jewish tradition, even from other Native American and other traditions, Zoroastrian and African, Japanese. I do myself, but I don't want to broadcast them because then it'll just become a new religion. So it doesn't really matter what I do myself. What matters is that we do whatever we do it with love. Whatever sort of meditation, there are many good meditation teachers. You can learn how to meditate from them, but I don't want what I do to become a new religion. That's I'm very afraid of that. So I won't talk very much about it. I did do those before, but it doesn't matter what I do. What matters is that you find a meditation practice, a spiritual practice that is beneficial to you. So Jawadruya says, are ETs helping Palestinians now? Definitely. It's not only ETs, but good human beings are helping the Palestinians. Otherwise, how have they been able to withstand the Israel had said, within a few days, we're going to have control of Gaza. Isn't that what they announced? Netanyahu announced within a few days, we will have conquered Gaza. Now it's been many months and they haven't been able to do it. Hamas is still fighting. So it means they're getting some help, both from other good human beings and from good extraterrestrials. Yes. Muhammad Aslam says, Salam alaikum, Janab. Allah Ta'ala आप पर अपने फजलो करम फरमाए और तमाम साथ देने वालों पर हम सब को दुआ में याद रखें. Thank you very, very much, Muhammad Aslam. Sir, wa alaikum salam. And may God Almighty give all of us His mercy, all supporters, all sincere people. Yes, thank you very much. And I do remember you all. If by hum sab you mean Pakistanis, I especially remember Pakistanis and Khalistanis because I've been told this is how world peace will come. When the Pakistanis and Khalistanis, especially the Punjabi Muslims and Sikhs come together in love, come together, work together, and pray together, that's how world peace will come. So hum sabko means Pakistanis and Khalistanis above all for me. Yes, I am praying for you all. I'm remembering this all the time. That I've been told this and I've said it many, many times. The secret of success in this prayer for world peace, which we all want world peace, is first of all, when the Pakistani Muslims and the Khalistani Sikhs come together. And coming together means even worshiping God together. Because Allah is also a name used in the Guru Granth Sahib, in the Sikh scripture. So Baba Nanak Sahib and all the Sikh gurus, they all used the name, as far as we know, they used the name of Allah as one of the names of God. So there's no reason why Muslims and Sikhs can't come together and glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala together. So that's what I mean when you say hum sabko, that's who I'm thinking of. All sincere, pure-hearted, especially beginning with Pakistani Muslims and Khalistani Sikhs, but all people in Pakistan and Khalistan, which are one. Pakistan and Khalistan both mean land of the pure, so they're spiritually the same reality. Okay, Muhammad Aslam says, stay blessed and Allah bless everyone. Thank you very much. Pokemon Heaven says, are antidepressants good or bad? Does the government put bad chemicals in them? I would be very, very careful about taking antidepressants. I took a course once when I was at the University of California in Berkeley about 25 years ago, maybe a long time ago. I took a course on neurophysiology and neurochemistry. And one of the things the professor taught was that be very careful of these pharmaceuticals which affect your mind. Because what happens is, after some time, you become dependent on those pharmaceuticals and you lose your own bodily, what's the right word? Your bodily functions that can help you antidepressing. If you're feeling depression, be very careful about taking antidepressant pharmaceuticals because it actually affects the neurons in your brain and you become dependent on it. So in the beginning, it might help you, but after some time, the same amount of that pharmaceutical will not have the same effect. It will decrease the effect. So, and does the government put bad chemicals in them? Very possible. They put bad chemicals in all sorts of not only antidepressants, but they even put it in food. The evil satanic forces are putting all sorts of poisons into food, just like when we use DDT or other, uh, they say it's good to kill off the bad insects that are getting into the crops, but actually those chemicals that kill the insects or the pests, they also are bad for us. That's why organic food is very important, to avoid those pesticides and other things that they put into the food too. So not only into pharmaceuticals, but in all sorts of things that we require. Even in water sometimes there are all sorts of bad things that governments have put in intentionally. And even in medicines. Okay. Bisham Hotwani sends his love and greetings. Thank you, Bisham Hotwani Sahib. Mujtaba Shama says, do you have any classes or videos on the meditation you do? And can you explain what this process is? Well, I just answered this question basically, and I guess you asked the same question. And I said, I have done some classes and videos on the meditation practice I do, but I don't want it to become a new religion. So I stopped promoting that as I had. There are many good meditation practices. I don't want you to follow what I'm doing and then that become a new religion. Jawad Roya says, I have just opened a special needs center in Chitral and would like to seek help from extraterrestrial for improving the lives of special needs people in Pakistan by creating awareness and help education, provide medical intervention, create jobs for them, and more. Oh, very, very wonderful. Thank you so much. I have also, sometimes when I was teaching here in Esparto as a substitute teacher, I sometimes was teaching special needs students also. And they're very, very, many of them are very, very sweet and very, very special people. They certainly need our help. So I thank you very, very much for helping people with special needs in Chitral. And yes, I'm sure that the good extraterrestrials, what we call angels, are going to be helping you. They are definitely helping you. So please continue this very, very good, important work and creating awareness about the special needs people. And yes, thank you so much, sir. And Rubina Rashid says, Steve Gergen, no, you spelled it wrong. Greer. Stephen Greer, Greer. Stephen Greer is teaching how we can call extraterrestrials to come to us. So he has the Disclosure Project, and he also has what's called the Ambassador. I don't remember if it's the Ambassador Program or Ambassador Project, but he has a program called Ambassador, which specifically means we citizens become ambassadors, bringing about unity and communication with extraterrestrials. So Stephen, that spelling is correct, Greer, Greer. Javad Ruya says, Gaia is a good platform to learn more about ETs. Yes, I agree with you. Dr. Ijaz Ali Jagrani Baloch says, does any extraterrestrial's genome match with our human genome? Would it be possible to breed with human or any example of that in history? Yes. There are some extraterrestrials whose genome is very, very close to ours. In fact, our genome, this may be kind of shocking to you, but our genome is made up of DNA from a variety of extraterrestrials. That's why we call human beings ashraful makhluqat, right? So human beings on this earth, there are many different types of human beings, but we ourselves, the human beings on this earth, we have been especially genetically modified. So we're GMOs ourselves. Our genome is very, very special because it includes DNA from a variety of different species. That means different extraterrestrial species. So it's very, very special. So that's why human beings on this earth are so valuable, are so much appreciated and loved or misused even, because of the very, very powerful DNA that we have, which has been suppressed also. Our real genetic potential has been suppressed. So, but yes, and there are many extraterrestrial races that have interbred with human beings. It's even written in the Bible. It's plainly stated that they're called, I'm trying to remember the name, Nephilim, I think maybe. There were extraterrestrials who came to Earth and they interbred with human beings. So there are examples in history of where humans and extraterrestrials have bred. It's specifically mentioned. It's in, I think, Genesis chapter 6. I think it's right, 4 or 6, but it's specifically mentioned in the Bible and in many other ancient texts about human beings breeding with extraterrestrials. Not only humanoid, not only human, I mean, because there are many extraterrestrial races who look just like us. They may be taller or shorter, they may be different colors, but they look very much like us. So, of course, there can be breeding with that. But even there are hybrid beings as a result of breeding between human beings and extraterrestrials who don't look just like human beings. So actually, we're all part of one family. That's why I say there are extraterrestrial brothers and sisters. It's actually literal. They are our extraterrestrial cousins. And there has been interbreeding between human beings on this earth with both human and non-human species from other planets. Many examples. Hashem says, do you believe Mirza Qadiani was a prophet? No. I've said this many, many times, that Mr. What was his name? Anyway, Ghulam something, who's called Qadiani, that was not his name. Mirza Ghulam Ahmed, that was his name. So he was promoted by the British. He was not a prophet. He was not an agent, but he was an asset. The British used him to promote support of the British government. So he supported the British government. And even his followers now, they are being supported by the neo-colonialists. I don't want to criticize them because there are many good Qadianis and good Ahmadiyas, or whatever they want to call themselves. But I am 100% convinced that even though there are some good people there, their leader, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, we give him respect because he was a human being, but he was not a prophet, definitely. He was a asset of the British colonialists. It's very clear if you study it objectively. But certainly, let me just end by saying, as I've said many times, it's very, very wrong for the people to attack the businesses of the Qadianis or the Ahmadiyas and burn down their homes and their businesses. I was myself alive in the 1950s, and although I was too young, my parents didn't even want me to see it. But they told us that we could go up onto the roof of our house and see the buildings in Lahore being burned. They were Qadiani businesses and homes that were being burned down by mobs. That is very wrong. That is against Islam, definitely. So, but although they're so-called, I don't even want to say so-called prophet, even though their leader claimed to be the Mahdi and the Isa alayhi Islam. He claimed to be both the Mahdi and Jesus, which I don't think they're the same being. They're two separate. The Mahdi and the second coming of Jesus are two different people, but he claimed that he was both of them. And he was not a Sayyid. So the Mahdi, Imam Mahdi alayhi Islam, clearly there are many, many statements in the Hadith that he will be a Sayyid. So Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was not a Sayyid. So then they try to explain that, oh, well, he's a Sayyid, even if not material. No. So he definitely is not a prophet. He is not the Mahdi. He is not the return of Jesus, but he was an asset of the British colonialists and supported them, and they promoted him. Okay, sorry, I gave a too long answer there. Maybe Ottoman Sufism says, Babaji, is there anything for acute panic attacks and for seizure? Please do it for me. Love from Multan, Pakistan. Well, The main thing is zikr, I would say. Acute panic attacks, two things. Do deep breathing. When you get an attack, uh, you can breathe slowly and meditate, and that can calm down your mind. And the other thing is remember that this reality is a virtual reality, and you can abstract yourself from it. When the panic attack starts coming, step back. Realize that panic is not you. That panic is just an emotion that is related to you because you're absorbed in the movie. You're watching the movie, this virtual reality, this that we're living in. So, but you can step back from it. And the way you can step back from it, what I recommend anyway, take a deep breath, breathe slowly, that will calm down your mind, and then do some meditation, especially zikr. For me, that works anyway. When I get all strung up or when I get all disturbed, then I find that doing deep breathing and meditation, especially zikr, is calming. So I don't know, there may be some pharmaceuticals that help in panic attacks also. I've never studied that, but that's temporary. The permanent solution to panic attacks is to pray and meditate and to realize this whole world that we're living in is really a virtual reality, and we can abstract ourselves from it, step back from it all, and then the panic attack will subside. All right, Hal Shem says, oops, I just answered that question. And Hal Shem goes on, do you believe Guru Nanak and Mirza Qadiani are true Muslim prophet? I already said Mirza Qadiani is not a prophet. But I do, and Guru Nanak, I've said this many times, Baba Nanak Sahib, he is a true Muslim. I don't call him a prophet, but he definitely is a true Muslim saint, and more than just a saint. He is a guru, and a guru means somebody who is, the real meaning of the word guru is somebody who is in perfect touch with God, so that when he speaks, he doesn't speak what he wants or what he thinks, but the word of God proceeds from his mouth. So if that's your definition of a prophet, then I'd say he's a prophet. But I've never called him a prophet, but he definitely is a true Muslim. And on the other hand, Mirza Qadiani is not a prophet. Fahim Zafar says, I have no doubt. Says, agreed, sir, thank you. And Jawad Roya says, is Baba Shams, is Multan Shams-e Tabriz? I visited the shrine of Baba Shams in Multan. I've told this story many times. And I saw him. I believe it was him. I actually saw this very special person. And he left the shrine, and I followed him just a few steps behind him. And he went into that little mosque, which is out in the courtyard. And when I followed him, just a couple seconds later, the mosque was empty. He wasn't there. So then I learned that he can travel from Multan to Medina Munawwar or to Mecca Sharif in a moment. They have that power. So is he Shamsi Tabriz? I don't know. The name, of course, is the same, but I don't know whether he is the same Shamsi Tabriz. But he definitely lived much later than Shamsi Tabriz. But there could be some connection between them. Al Shem means, do you believe Guru Nanak and Mirza? Oh. So this Hal Shem must be a follower of this Mirza Qadiani. I don't know, but he seems to keep asking if he's a true Muslim prophet. So I will say one last time, no, very clearly. Mirza Qadiani, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, is not a prophet, neither a Muslim prophet nor any other prophet. He is an asset of the British colonialists. And his followers, if they believe he is, we should not hate them. We should not harm them because they are different than us, but we should not allow them to think that, well, they can think what they want. But I will never think that this Qadiani Sahib, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad, could be a prophet. No. As for Guru Nanak, as I've just also said, many times I've said he is a real Muslim. He is a better Muslim than most of us will ever be. So he teaches real Islam. Uh, so we must divide these two. They preached love, not Sharia. Well, I don't know what Ghulam Ahmad, whether he preached love, not Sharia. I don't know very much about him at all. But I do know that Baba Guru Nanak Sahib, he preached love. Uh, and that's the real purpose of Islam. So he is a real Muslim. In fact, we need to learn from him. We need to study his teachings and follow them because they are the proper form of Islam for the present time. Baba Guru Nanak Sahib taught real Islam, and he exposed the fake teachings of both Islam and Hinduism. He said, actually, there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. This is real Islam. If you identify yourself as a Hindu or as a Muslim, Baba Guru Nanak said, that's not your real identity. You are an eternal servant of God. That's your real identity. So if we identify ourselves as following a certain religion, whether it's Sharia or whatever it is about that religion, that is an incomplete understanding. The real understanding of religion is that love is above all. So Baba Guru Nanak definitely taught not only love, but especially zikr. The whole mission of Baba Guru Nanak Sahib was promoting chanting of the names of God, zikr. So that's real Islam. That's what Baba Guru Nanak taught. As for this Mirza Qadiani, Ghulam Ahmad Sahib, we can call him Sahib because he was a human being, but we cannot respect the ideas he taught that he was the Mahdi. That's a joke. He can't be the Mahdi because he's not a Sayyid. Okay, and don't try to say spiritual. Anyway, now we're getting the same Halshem again. I'm not going to answer your questions. I've already answered that. Pokemon Heaven says, so what is a substitute for antidepressants? Well, I don't say you cannot take antidepressants. I just say you have to be very careful in taking them. Don't get addicted to them. So you have to find a proper medical professional, preferably an Unani one rather than a Western, as they call them, allopathic doctors, pharmaceutical doctors. No, I don't trust them at all. I don't go to them, except when I had a heart condition, so I went to a heart surgeon. But usually these pharmaceutical doctors are not trustworthy. I don't trust them. So substitute, I already said, meditation. You can meditate and you can escape your depression by your own meditative practices, not by taking pharmaceuticals. But in some cases, it may be necessary. So I wouldn't say don't take antidepressants, but just take them very, very carefully if you have to take them. Oh, sorry, I didn't highlight that. Yes. Okay, so substitute for antidepressants, meditation, zikr. But follow good medical advice. Muhammad Sarmad says, have you ever met Hazrat Pir Nasiruddin Nasir Jilani, R.A. Golra Sharif? No, I have never met him. Halka Ahbab Musumia says, what do you think about Elon Musk's Mars colonization program? I think Elon Musk knows that we already have bases on Mars and have had for many decades. I think even from the 1950s or 1960s, but certainly by the 1970s and 1980s, the American secret space program had bases on Mars. So I think Musk knows that. Maybe he doesn't know that. I don't know. But so his colonization program is maybe meant for letting other people know gradually that there already is there are many bases on Mars, mostly underground, and there were great civilizations on Mars many thousands of years ago. So they were mostly destroyed in a war or in a space catastrophe. But there's clear evidence. The so-called face on Mars, what was his name now? Graham Hancock, I think, was one of them, or I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now. But if you do research, you do your own research, you will be able to find out that there already were thousands of years ago, inhabitants, intelligent inhabitants who built cities and great pyramids and great, what is that, great structure, which looks just like a face, and I have no doubt it is a face. NASA and the Pentagon have tried to conceal the truth about it, but definitely that was a face of a human-like being. So, as far as Elon Musk's Mars program goes, it's not necessary because we already have big bases. Millions of human beings are living on Mars right now, mostly under the surface. But it's not as bad as they say. It's possible. People who have been there, they have reported that human beings, we ourselves, we can walk on the surface of Mars and breathe the air. It's difficult. It's very thin, but it's just like on a very high mountain, you can walk, and if you're used to it, you can live there. So they have gotten, some of them have gotten quite adjusted so they can live on the surface of Mars also and breathe that air. But it's thin, it's hard to do. So I think Elon Musk must be aware of this, but for some reason, I don't know why, he's proceeding with his Mars colonization program. But I know, and I think he probably knows, that there are already human beings living on Mars. Okay, D says, hello. Hi, salam alaikum. I am Fahad from Pakistan. Can you tell about Sheikh Nizam al-Haqqani? Did you meet him in meditation? Can you please share any experience about this saint? I don't know much about Sheikh Nazim al-Haqqani. I have met some of his disciples, and as far as I know, he was a great saint, but I never met him in meditation, and I don't have any experience about him. But I do know that he was a great saint, and I have met some of his followers who were also some of his disciples, direct disciples, who were wonderful people. So, alaikum salam. D or Fahad Saib. Hashem says, the same question again. I'm not going to answer your question. Don't repeat the question, sir. Ijaz Ali Jagrani Baloch says, kindly tell about spirit or ruh. Oh boy, this is a big topic. But I think I will just quote this verse again, which Allama Iqbal Rahmatullahi taught me. Islami Pak ka matlab ki Shariat ya Muhabbat, Insani Pak ka matlab ki Jisme Khak ya Ruh Pak. So, ruh or spirit means the heart. So the spirit of Islam is love. So the spirit of the human being is the eternal aspect, the most important aspect. The body is like Sharia, it's temporary, but the spirit or ruh is the eternal self, is the real heart of the human being, is the spirit or ruh. So it is eternal. It will never die. The body dies, but the ruh, which is us, ruh means me. I am the ruh. I am not the body. The body is just a temporary clothing or covering over the real self, which is the ruh. I hope I don't want, this is a huge topic, but D says, does Ottoman Empire rule again? Will any Muslim ruler will come? I would say Pakistani Empire will come. I believe that Pakistan will become the superpower, spiritually certainly, but also economically, militarily, and also politically. That the Muslim ruler will arise in Pakistan. That's my understanding of what the saints have prophesied and told us. So I don't know about Ottoman. I don't think Ottoman Empire will rule again, but inshallah, Pakistan Empire. But it won't be an empire like old empires. The Pakistani Empire will be an empire of love and truth and justice, and it won't be conquering other countries by war like empires used to be established, but it will be an empire of love and truth, and people will join willingly. They won't have to be conquered militarily. Even the people of India, I've said this many, many times, the people of India will join willingly, eagerly, with Pakistan Khalistan when they see how the Muslim people and the Sikh people, who for hundreds of years were bitter enemies, militarily, politically enemies, how the Muslim Punjabis and Sikhs, especially the Muslims and Sikhs in the Punjab, have come together in love, then the people of India will want to join. So that's the whole world will become Pakistan in that way, not by a military conquest, but by a conquest of love. Okay, Yasir Bab says, if we are not our emotions, then what are we? We are the Ruh, we are the spirit. The emotions is just the mind, activities of the mind. And it's not that hard if you practice it. Again, I will repeat one last time. Breathe deeply, slow, deep breaths, and your mind will very quickly become peaceful. And then meditate, do zikr, or whatever type of meditation you like. There are many different types of meditation. And then you will actually be able to directly see that these emotions are not me. The emotions of hate or love, the emotions of anxiety or fear, these are separate from me. And we are the consciousness, the soul. The consciousness is an aspect of the soul. So when we reflect a little bit, if you just meditate on it, you reflect, you can experience directly that all these emotions that are going on, they're outside of me. They're not me. But I am the consciousness. I am the soul. Okay, Hal Shem says, sorry, those Mirza comments are old comments. I deleted them, but they keep showing up for some reason. Well, whatever reason. Halka Ahbab Masumia says, Prophet, peace be upon him, said, you will not enter paradise until you have faith, and you will not have faith until you love each other. Sahih Muslim 54. Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful hadith. So, of course, faith doesn't mean what most people think. In Christianity, at least, they talk about this. Just have faith. But that they mean belief. So faith does not mean belief, whether it's in Islam or in Christianity or in Hinduism or in any religion. Faith does not mean belief. Faith means that you have true vision. You can see with your spiritual eyes. Faith means seeing with your spiritual eyes. So when you see the truth, that will not happen. You will not be able to see the truth. You will not be able to have true faith, true spiritual vision until you love each other. What a beautiful, beautiful statement. So thank you very much, sir. So no question of entering paradise until we have spiritual vision, but we can't have pure spiritual vision until we have love for each other. Thank you so much. Pakwan Heaven says, who was Saint Charbel? I don't know. I've never heard of Saint Charbel. D, what do you know about Sheikh Nazim? I already talked about that. I did not meet him. I don't know much about him, but I do believe he was a great saint, and I have met some of his followers. In England in 2012, I met one of his chief disciples. Jawad Ruya says, have you ever found likeness of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in any picture or portrait? Yes. In fact, I saw him myself, so I didn't need any picture or portrait. But I have seen pictures that other people have made of him. Of course, Muslims say we shouldn't have them, but I have seen them. And I've seen pictures which look very much like what I saw him looking like, which is he was wearing a green turban, very broad forehead, very, very beautiful, perfectly proportioned face. He had a black beard, and there are pictures I've seen of him that look very much like that. D says, okay, may Allah give you good health. Thank you. Zain Arafin says, Salam, have you ever visited UCH Uch Sharif, very ancient city, and met with Sayyid Jalal al-Din Bukhari, many other wali? I've never been to Uch Sharif, no, or met anybody there. Sayyid Yasser Abbas Jafri says, do you even know anything about Pakistanis under divine punishment? Well, this is a good question. I don't know anything about Pakistanis under divine punishment. I think that Pakistanis are under divine protection if we are sincere and we try sincerely to serve the cause of Pakistan, which is a divine cause. But if we uh, work against truth and justice and love in Pakistan, then we might be under divine punishment, definitely. But I don't think most Pakistanis are under divine punishment. No. Most Pakistanis are under divine protection, but we must be sincere. To be a Muslim means to be sincere. So if we are sincere, then certainly we're not under divine punishment, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is protecting us. So I don't know anything about Pakistanis under divine punishment. Rubina Rashid says, Inshallah. Thank you. Dr. Aijaz Ali Jagirani Baloch says, Sir, what is your opinion about Gohar Shahi and Osho? I don't know much about them, but what I know about Gohar Shahi, I think I've got the right person. He is that man. He teaches, like I do, that all religions are good and people of different religions should work together. I think is that the Gohar Shahi. Anyway, and Osho, again, I don't know much about him. He has some strange teachings, actually, as far as I know, but he also has helped a lot of people. But I certainly don't follow him. D says, do you believe in hypnosis? Is there any hypnosis in spirituality? Yes, it's not a belief. Hypnosis is a fact. It's a scientific practice, which works. People who are hypnotized, they can accomplish things that are impossible physically when they're not under hypnosis. Just do a little research. Somebody under hypnosis can, for example, carry a very heavy weight that they could never carry ordinarily. So it's not a belief, it's a scientific fact. Of course, it has been and can be misused a lot. But and is there hypnosis in spirituality? I don't know about that relationship of hypnosis and spirituality. But I do know that hypnosis is a scientific fact, and it's quite difficult to understand, but it's something to do with the mind having many abilities that we ordinarily don't access. And under hypnosis, we can access memories that we could not remember without hypnosis. That's happened to many, many people, including myself. I have been hypnotized, and I was able to remember things that I could not remember otherwise. So it's not bad, but it can be misused. It's dangerous because people have misused it a lot too. Okay, Muhammad Sarmad says, seeing the West and the Jews bomb our brothers and sisters in Palestine, all of Sham and now Yemen, why do you think the Muslim governments are not fighting back? Well, this is a very good question. I guess it depends on the Muslim governments, but some of them are fighting back. I think Turkish government definitely is sending support, both psychological support and also material support, I think, to Hamas. Of course, they have to do it very carefully, but most of the Muslim governments are not fighting back. Maybe they're afraid. I don't know. It's a good question. Maybe they're afraid because, of course, Israel has nuclear weapons, and maybe they're afraid that they will be bombed if they fight back against Israel. I don't know, but that's a very good question. And there are many different answers for the different people in the different governments, different Muslim governments. But I think Erdogan is fighting back. Of course, some governments are corrupt, and so that may be why they're not fighting back. We know of a very important, very corrupt government in Pakistan that's not fighting back. But others, some are fighting back, and others are just afraid. Okay, Pokemon Heaven says, who are virgins in paradise? Wow, this is a good question. I don't know. I think they must be very, very holy, spiritual ladies. But I don't really know. Sayyid Yasser Abbas Jafri says, you should know about parameters of divine punishment as per Quran, Surah Al-Araf. Okay, well, many people around the world forever have been punished, have been subject to divine punishment if they were themselves unjust and committed atrocities or something. But okay, I will read Surah Al-Araf and maybe then I'll be able to answer your question better. Baka in Heaven says, who was Jim Jones? Who did the massacre? Well, I believe that, my parents had very, very close friends whose children were in Jim Jones' organization, and they died in that event when so many of them committed suicide, supposedly. But I believe the CIA was actually involved in his organization, but I don't really want to talk about him. Who did the massacre? I don't know the details, but I am convinced, I should say, I don't know for a fact because I wasn't there and haven't studied it very much. But I do believe, I have heard and I believe that Jim Jones was not just what he was said to be by the mass media, but the CIA was involved in that whole program. Maybe they were doing some experiments or something, research how they can control people's minds or something, I don't know. Okay, Dr. Ijaz Ali Jagarani Baloch says, sir, is it true ETs speak through telepathy or some of them tell about their languages? Yes, most ETs speak using telepathy. In fact, the ones I've usually communicated with has been through telepathy. But they do have languages and they can use their languages to communicate also. And many of them can speak English verbally and we can hear them. That has happened to me too. But mostly they use telepathy because it's much more effective. It's much more efficient. It's much more accurate. And you can say a lot more, much more quickly than you can by using language. So some ET languages are related to some, especially older languages on Earth, including Arabic and Sanskrit and Sumerian. These are languages that are related to some extraterrestrial languages. That I'm quite certain of. Okay, it's gone on a long time now. We've been almost 2 hours. I've never done such a long live chat, but so many good questions. Let us proceed quickly as much as we can. Syed Yasser Abbas Jafri says, especially Pakistanis are under... Oh, we should open our eyes, he says. No, I think that some Pakistanis are under divine punishment, not all. So I'm sorry, but we should open our eyes and realize that our government, so-called government in Pakistan, is extremely corrupt, and they definitely are going to be punished severely. But I don't think ordinary Pakistani people are really under severe divine punishment. Maybe, I don't know, but I think it's actually divine mercy. All the difficulties that Pakistanis are facing now are really divine mercy, not divine punishment. And they are for waking us up and for helping us to become true Pakistanis, purifying us. Just like when gold is put in the fire by a goldsmith, that's meant for purifying the gold. So all the difficulties that Pakistan is facing now, I would not call it divine punishment, but I would call it divine mercy for our purification. And Jawad Roya says, do you believe in reincarnation? I've answered this question a number of times. I've always said the same thing, that we don't actually reincarnate because we don't incarnate. We are seeing this world outside of our bodies as it is a virtual reality. So we are actually outside of time and outside of space. This time and space that we're experiencing in this world, that's more or less what should I say? Well, it's not exactly an illusion, but it's illusory. It's not false. It's real, but it's not what we think it is. It's actually a virtual reality. So we're not actually incarnated in these bodies. We are just attached to these bodies because we think they're real. Just like when somebody's playing a computer game or watching a movie and becomes so absorbed in that character that they are representing or identifying with, that they experience the emotions of that character. So our bodies are like characters in a computer game. So we don't actually incarnate in them. We're just associated with them or identified with them uh, by our own consciousness, by our own perception. So there's no reincarnation because there's no incarnation. But I do believe that we can identify with different bodies in different times and places because we are actually outside of time and space. That is, the soul is outside of time and space. But we enter into this virtual reality and identify with this body or that body. So yes, that's that type of reincarnation. Not only do I believe in it, but I've experienced it. I've remembered experiences of identifying with other bodies other than the body that I'm identifying with now. So I hope that answers the question properly. D says, are there haunted houses in American houses? Can you tell me about Ed and Lorraine Warren, paranormal activities investigators? I've never heard of Ed and Lorraine Warren, so I can't tell you anything about them. But there certainly are haunted houses in America. There are some famous ones too, and some people must have investigated them, but I don't know about these investigators. But yes, there are houses in America where people who lived in those houses and died have remained there in a ghostly form. Some of them are quite famous. Zain Khan says, sir, why you make video of sun? Are you waiting for grand solar flash? No, making this video of sun has nothing to do with any grand solar flash. I'm not waiting for the grand solar flash. I I'm quite sure that if it hasn't already happened, it will be prevented. When it happens, it will be prevented from causing such a massive destruction as some people have thought. I believe that we are being protected and perhaps have been protected by powerful extraterrestrials, angelic forces, if you want to say, from that grand solar flash, which maybe was going to happen without their intervention. But my making videos of the sun has nothing to do with the grand solar flash. It just has to do with the beauty of the sunrises and sunsets that we have here in Esparto. It's really just because beauty is very, very important, and it's usually neglected. Beauty is a very, very important aspect of life and of religion, but many religions, they ignore it or they avoid it even. But beauty, so the beauty of the sunrise, of the sunset, the beauty of the clouds that I'm taking in my videos, it has nothing to do with solar flash or anything else. It's just for the beauty of it. Syed Yasser Abbas Jafri says, Allah punishes nations collectively, bro. Okay, but I don't believe Pakistan is now being punished by Allah. I believe Pakistan is being purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Muhammad Sarmad says, well, let's suppose you get to be PM of Pakistan. What steps would you take to unite people? Would your way forward be a secular one? Well, that's a very good question. I don't think I'll become PM of Pakistan since I'm not a Pakistani national. I don't have citizenship, so I couldn't become the PM. But to unite people, I would encourage everyone, especially to do zikr. Definitely, that would be my first program, to encourage everyone to do zikr. And I would encourage everyone to love people, especially people of other religions, to work together with people of other religions in love and harmony, and to work together, especially with the Sikhs. So, would my way forward be a secular one? No. Well, it depends on what you mean by secular, but definitely not. My way forward would be to put God in the center, to make spiritual life the most important aspect of Pakistan's national life. Okay, Sayyid Yasser Abbas Jafri says, please read Surah Al-Araf and then perhaps you will be able to see the reality. Okay, Musa Khan says, sir, how much time is left in Ghazwa Hind and Malahammatul Kubra? I don't know. I've said so many times, I don't know. But I do believe that Ghazwa Hind is going on right now. We're in the middle of it. And it maybe started some decades ago even, but at least, at least 20, 30, 40 years ago, I would say, Ghazwa Hind was beginning and manifesting, and we're in the middle of it right now. When it will end, I don't know. Zain Khan says, Sir, I learned that in matrix system, our souls recycles back to Earth. Now, this matrix is about to break after grand solar flash, but our individual free will matters if we don't want to change. Well, again, I don't know about this grand solar flash. I think that it was going to happen, but it's been mostly prevented, at least from being so destructive as people were afraid, by positive, powerful extraterrestrial or angelic forces. So I'm not quite sure. Of course, our individual free will matters very much. In fact, it may have been our individual free will that brought into effect this, brought to pass this prevention of the solar flash from having so much damage as it was expected to have. So our individual free will matters very, very much, yes. Okay, I'm sorry I have to end soon. I'm not going to be able to answer all these questions, but I'll take a couple more. Dr. Aijaz Ali Jagirani Baloch says, Sir, is there existence of Illuminati? What is their mission? Yes, there definitely is an existence of Illuminati, although they deny that they exist. They're very tricky, very clever. They certainly exist, and they say they don't exist. And they control the media, so some people believe they don't exist. But they definitely do exist, and have for a long time, and still do. And their mission, basically, I think, is to control the world, to gain full control of the whole planet under their own fascist dictatorship. Okay, Sayed Yasser Abbas Jafri says, please define zikr. Well, zikr mainly for me means calling on the names of God and remembering God. Okay, Muhammad Sarmad says, how would you describe Hazrat Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam? What do you take from his life? Well, I love him very, very much. He is my hero because he stood up against injustice, and that's what we all must do, uh, and fearlessly. So, Pakistanis, if you don't want to be under the divine punishment that this man is talking about, but we must stand up boldly against the injustice and the corruption, as Hazrat Hussein ibn Ali did, alayhi salam. What do you take from his life? Inspiration to be more courageous, to oppose injustice, even at the cost of life. Although I'm not so brave as him, but certainly his life is a great example and encouragement to stand up for the truth and justice. Okay, Ottoman Sufism says, sunrise is beautiful of a new day and new hope. Yes, you're right, actually. That's what I've often said when I am doing a video of the sunrise. I say, yes, this is a new day. But it's really the beauty. It's a beautiful new day. Thank you, sir. And D, what is a spiritual cure for sleep paralysis and protection from possessing by evil spirits? Well, I have to answer the questions quickly, so I'll just say zikr. And that's what I do. When I find sleep paralysis and I'm stuck in it, I try, at least if I can't do it verbally, in my mind, I do zikr. And Muhammad Sarmad says, I would highly recommend you to study, if not then, at least to listen to Hazrat Nasiruddin Nasir Jilani. Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Babar Qayyum says, very long time I see you, sir. I don't know why you haven't seen, because I'm every Saturday, at this time, every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Pakistan time. I may be 10 or 15 minutes late, but every Saturday I've been doing this live chat for a long time and hope to continue doing it, inshallah. Musa Khan says, sir, where is Imam Mahdi now? Are you in contact with him? Oh, I've answered this question so many times. I believe Imam Mahdi alayhi salam does not appear only once. He has appeared and he will continue to appear. I don't know when and how exactly, but I have said that not Mirza, but Master is the right word to use. Master Faiz Muhammad, who was born in Makkah Sharif in the 1870s or 1880s, I don't know. He was one appearance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. And he came to America in about 1930 or so, and he started the Nation of Islam here. So I believe he was one appearance of Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. Where is he now? I don't know. But But I do believe, I have been told this, it may sound strange to you, but I have been told that most people's understanding of Imam Mahdi is wrong. He will not lead a big army to attack Jerusalem and literally and establish Islam like that. No. Imam Mahdi alayhi salam is a spiritual teacher, and he has come in the form of Master Fard Muhammad, and he will come, and he is coming. And how many times he will come, I don't know, but he is active in the world now. I'm sure of that. So I guess you can say spiritually I'm in contact with him, but not physically. Sayyid Yasser Abbas Jafri says, reciting Allah's names is zikr, and understanding his words, of course, yes, that's zikr is remembering God in any way, which can be by reciting his names or can be by studying his words and understanding them. Jawad Ruya says, thank you so much for being there for us all. Allah bless you and yours. Thank you so much. Okay, we do have to end now. We've gone on for more than 2 hours. Allah Hafiz. May God protect us all.